Okay.
Hold on. Gotta hit the continue button. All right, I call this meeting of the Land Use Planning and Public Works Meeting Committee to order. Here we have Councilor Dombrowski, Councilor Washington, and Councilor Sebelia. Also is the mayor, who looks really comfortable. You're on mute, Mayor. Nate Woody from Planning and Zoning, and then we also have Jessica Cobb on. At this point of the meeting, I will open the floor to citizens' comments. Is there any citizens who would like to address the committee? Hearing none. Move forward, review. I have no informational items. Review and approval of the prior meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Councilor Washington.
Hey, thank you. So corrections, deletions, additions, changes? Not hearing any comments, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Under old business, discussion and possible action for periodically review the list of town-owned property and update accordingly for assignment administrative control. I know we're working with the former planner to put that list together, but now that she's gone, we'll have to get together with the new planner to see what we can do to get that list moving again. There's no real urgency on it. We just need to look at it periodically. Second item, continued discussion regarding the blight enforcement. We have the report from February 2nd and April 5th attached.
Can you hear me, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have, you probably recall the house at 334 Colonel Ledyard Highway. We had to do a blight enforcement on it last year. The grass was like 2 feet tall. We're at that point again with that house. So we've given that owner notice again. And if it's not cleaned up, again, the grass is about 2 feet tall. And if it's not cleaned up, we're going to go in, do the work, and pursuant to the blight ordinance, go ahead and place a lien on the property.
Understood. Yeah. All right. Next item, discussion regarding potential uses. The Clark Farm, I have no action there yet. Other than I know that the Tri-Town Trail is using it and we are leasing to Mr. Major for farming. Status update for security regarding East Street Park. Mary, you have any updates on that? I haven't heard anything. I know I talked to one of the neighbors who I work with and he seemed very pleased with what's going on.
Yeah, it seems to be that the policing of the park a little bit more. I know that there's some street lighting or lot lighting that's going in or has gone in. So I think it's changed the dynamic a little bit there in terms of the elements that were there that shouldn't be. So I think that's improved.
Okay, good. All right, I have no other old business, new business. I'll make a motion to recommend the town council accept road widening strips of land along Town Farm Road to be conveyed to the town of Ledyard for highway purposes as required of the condition of the approval of subdivision application PZ 21 tax 03 sub for a 3-lot subdivision of 48 Town Farm Road, contingent upon the town attorney's review and approval of a quitclaim deed prior to filing on the Ledyard land records. Do I hear a second?
Second.
So this is standard fare. They're doing a subdivision over on Town Front at the address. In order to comply with the road ordinance, we're gonna be adding the right of way. I'm surprised that's not there now, but that's kind of surprising to me. Because I know when I lived at 84, that the right of way was there on that end of the property, or at least on the road. So
Unsubdivided lot's pretty old.
what's that, Nate?
The unsubdivided lot is pretty old.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a quick question. So is this, when they do the right of way, is that part of the approved subdivision or is this separate from that?
It's approved. It's part of the approved subdivision.
Okay, so
If
this
you
just
look-
makes the
This just,
official,
this is actually just us saying, yeah, we'll accept this into the town right away. That's all.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Next item on the agenda, I'll make a motion to recommend the town of Ledyard accept ownership of the new Browns Crossing Bridge located at Browns Crossing Road, Gales Ferry, from Genesee and Wyoming G&W Railroad upon completion and certification. Do I hear a second?
Second.
So I'm not sure. I think the mayor had reported on this once before, and Mayor, I guess I'll let you.
Yeah, I can do
Full
it again.
details.
I apologize. Steve Maslin would have been here tonight, but he is still down in South Carolina for his father's funeral service. So as you probably recollect, back in the mid 1800s, New York, New Haven and Hartford Railroad acquired a piece of Mr. Brown's property to put in the old steam railroad. And as part of that, a bridge was constructed to cross to the remaining property of Mr. Brown, which is now 2 houses and part of Red Top, so part of Harvard's rowing facility. And over time, the bridge kind of diminished in quality and ability to carry traffic, but more importantly, so they had reduced it to a 3-ton limit, but the bridge was only constructed as a 6-ton limit. So we had a historical ownership study performed, and we determined that that it really was the ownership of the railroad. So we clarified that. The problem was they were still only willing to go to a 6-ton limit. And as an example, an oil truck, a home heating oil truck, weighs about 80,000 pounds. So once we had some duels with them, and we eventually got some clarification. I've got a visitor here too. We got some clarification on the ownership, and we convinced Genesee and Wyoming through their attorney Bruce Temkin that it's their responsibility and they need to provide us the quality bridge. So fast forward to today, they did a design and engineering work on that. It is now a 50-ton bridge, which 100,000 pounds will carry most every vehicle that we need, with the exception of some fire apparatus. But that's part of the problem right now too, is we can't even get fire apparatus or even an ambulance across that bridge. So they're going to put in a 50-ton bridge, and then when it's constructed and it's been certified and approved by the town engineer, then we will take ownership if you agree. And we feel that it's important to kind of put this to a close, but also more importantly, to provide good, safe passage for the homes on the other side, as well as Harvard's interests.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Any other comments?
Kevin, let me just add quick. Because it is real property, the bridge is real property, we do need to have a public hearing, and we also need to have an 824 review.
Okay, that's the next item on the agenda, but thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Thanks.
That's fine. Then I had a discussion. I something I wanted to talk about with that anyway before we get there on that one. All right. Any other discussion on this item?
Just a quick question. The bridge itself is real property. I mean, the town retains ownership on either side as well, correct?
Yeah, we only, so on the military highway side of the road, we actually have a legal road that ends there, which is Browns Crossing Road.
Okay.
Once we cross that bridge, it's private property. So the other piece of this is that we are working on easements from 2 of the 3 property owners over there, Harvard being one of them, so that we can at least get across. So for snow removal, as an example, we can get across and we can place snow on the other side of the bridge without having to back over the bridge to plow it clear.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed? So moved. Okay, item number 3. I think before I actually make this motion, I just want to I want to get a consensus here, Mayor, and I'd like your opinion as well. So Roxanne had sent me an email earlier today with all the stuff and how we, normally would have to have a town meeting for, and to your point, an 824 review for taking of real property and things like that. But part of me also looks at this as, is this really any different than what we do for a subdivision when we take new road into the road inventory? We don't have any of that there because we just take the road and add it to the road inventory without having a public hearing or town meeting. I'm not opposed to having
That's
either,
true.
don't get me wrong, but
Right.
I'm looking at it as really, yes, it's real property, but so is when we take a road into the road inventory from a subdivision application. I kind
That's
of look
very
at it,
true.
I kind of look at this the same way. We're really just taking a road, a continuation of the road as it is now. Yes, it's real property. Yes, it's a bridge, but it's really nothing more than adding an increased distance into the road inventory.
That's true. And this bridge has an expected lifespan of 70 to 100 years. I guess I could argue that the roads that we take into inventory have far less than that.
Right. So that's
So-
what I say. That's part of why I say I don't know if we need to do a public hearing and all that for this, because like I said, in my opinion, looking at all the documentation, Roxanne, and reading through all this stuff, this is really no different than what we do for taking road inventory from a subdivision.
Right.
Nate, because if
Agreed.
we have to go to an 824 review, what do you think your opinion would be on that?
No, I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, it makes total sense. Because yeah, it is exactly like that. And as long as it meets, the standards specified by the town engineer, then, it would be accepted by the normal process of, yeah, it's road, it's now the town's.
Right. So in that case there, I'm thinking that there would be no action for item number 3, since it would not be required. It'd be removed from the agenda.
I agree with you.
Makes sense to me.
Mike?
Yeah.
Just a quick question. So, and I agree with everybody. I just want to make sure I have this clear in my head. I'm thinking if a developer goes through, puts in a half-mile road that has a bridge on it, what's that process?
It's the same process. Once it gets approved through all the planning, everything else like it normally would, and be approved as a road by the town engineer, we accept it into the road inventory with a vote by the town council.
I don't see why we would do anything differently.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Oh,
So if everybody has a consensus with that, they agree, then we can remove item number 3 from the agenda as not required.
I
Tony?
concur.
You agree? Okay. So in that case, item number 3 is not acted on. I have no other business in front of the committee. Anybody else have any comments they'd like to make?
I'm gonna miss you, Tony.
Yeah, Tony. It's been a
Thank
pleasure
you.
working with you.
I won't be far away and I will always have an eye over my shoulder, seeing what everybody's up to.
Yeah.
It's,
This will be your last land use meeting.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's actually funny. People are welcoming me to Waterford, forgetting that I grew up there. I haven't lived in town since the 80s, but guys, I'm local. I feel like I'm starting over like when I moved to Ledyard.
Well, it'll be good to see if you get onto a board or commission in Waterford. I'd love to see your face.
They've
on
already
there.
started. I will tell you, just as quickly as Tim Ryan was grabbed by me, they're doing the same thing in Waterford.
Yeah, go-
I
That's
said, "You come-"
awesome.
So it's the same, almost the same exact situation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure working with you on the committee. We're gonna miss you.
I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
You're here.
So with that.
not on the
uh,
committee, but I would definitely second that.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Rock and roll.
Second,
Second, Council
without-
Washington.
thank you. Meetings adjourned without exception at 6:15. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
Here, Tony.
Bye-bye.
Bye.